How's it going, everybody? My name is Berd, and welcome to a brand new series that I'm going to start, which is called Berd Predicts. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, but every time the NFL season starts, I just get too lazy or I forget to make a video, and the whole series just goes to crap. So I really want to do it this year because I'm mainly inspired by Laserbeam, and most of y'all might know him. You might not know him from his prediction videos. You probably know him from like Fortnite or some of the videos he's done with Mr. Beast, but he used to do prediction videos, NFL prediction videos, and I kind of just want to do that and make my own predictions and see how good I am at predicting NFL games. And since I made this new YouTube channel specifically about the NFL, I think it would be the perfect time to start. We're going to start off the whole season with Lions at Chiefs. So, the Chiefs, of course, won the Super Bowl. You know, the Lions had an alright season, had a much better season than they've had in the past, almost made it to the playoffs, and they're on the rise. They're definitely on the rise. But I still think that the Chiefs are going to beat the Lions in their home opener. Patrick Mahomes has just been great with Week 1 games. Has just been destroying teams in Week 1, and I don't think that's going to change. So next up, we got Panthers at Falcons. I'm going to say that I'm going to take the Falcons here. I know that everyone's riding high on Bryce Young. He had some pretty good plays in the preseason, but I think it's going to take time for him to develop. I think he could be a great quarterback, but he won't immediately sprout. So I'm going to take the Falcons here. I'm going to take Desmond Ridder. I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's as bad as some other people say, but he's definitely not great yet. He could be great in the future. He could turn out to be a bust. That's all I'm saying. So, next up we got Houston Texans versus the Baltimore Ravens. I think the choice here is obvious, quite frankly. The Ravens made some pretty good acquisitions in the offseason, namely Odell Beckham Jr. It might take a little while for him to get back to how he once was due to him not playing for an entire year, but I still think he's going to be great for the Ravens offense, and I think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are going to win it at home. Next up, we got the Bengals versus the Browns. Now, the Browns are a very interesting team because we only really saw them at their full potential in the last, 6-7 weeks? Due to Deshaun Watson being out for, well, you know what he did. You know what he did. But I still think that the Bengals are going to beat the Browns here. I'm just not really seeing the Browns winning in this game, although I wouldn't be surprised if they do win the game against the Bengals. Anyway, the Jaguars versus the Colts. Now the Jags, I've been riding high on the Jags. I mean, they came up from a 27-point deficit against Los Angeles in the playoffs. That was just crazy. I mean, I thought they were all but dead to rights, and then they just came back. That was absolutely insane. And I think Trevor Lawrence has a lot more to prove. I think the Jaguars could be in the contention for a Super Bowl spot this year, and I do think that they're going to beat Anthony Richardson and the Colts. Next up, the Buccaneers versus the Vikings. So a lot of people are riding high on the Vikings, mostly because of the Justin Jefferson hype. You know, he had a absolutely insane season last year. And the Vikings, they had an alright season, even though they did not make it far in the playoffs, lost to New York. But I still think that the Vikings are in contention for a Super Bowl. I do think they're going to beat the Buccaneers, especially with them losing Tom Brady to retirement. I don't think that Baker Mayfield is going to be essentially the quarterback that they need, so I got the Vikings winning this one. Next up, we got the Titans versus the Saints. New Orleans. I'm going to be honest. I'm feeling like New Orleans is gonna have a better season than most people expect them to have. I think Derek Carr is gonna be better with New Orleans than he was in Las Vegas. I think Chris Olave is gonna have a good season this year. And even though Alvin Kamara is going to be suspended for the first 3 games, I believe, I still think that the Saints are going to beat the Titans here. I'm not down on the Titans, but I don't know. I got a good feeling about the Saints this year. Anyways, we're moving on to the Niners versus the Steelers. Now this game is actually going to be my upset of the week. Yeah, every week I'm going to be doing my upset of the week and my game of the week, which is what I think will be like the game to watch, like the best game to watch that week. So this is going to be my upset of the week. I'm taking the Steelers over the 49ers. I'm riding high on the Steelers. I watched them in the preseason. They're just too good to me. I mean, I saw that Kenny Pickett to George Pickens pass during the Falcons game. That thing got me. That thing made me so hyped for the season. I ain't gonna lie. But anyway, I'm taking the Steelers. Might be a bad pick, but, we'll see what happens. Anyway, next up, the Cardinals versus the Commanders. Now, I would take the Cardinals because I do think they're a better team than most people lead on, but Kyler Murray will not be playing. Not sure what's going on with him. I don't even remember what happened with Kyler Murray, but they're going to be starting Joshua Dobbs. And from my experience as a Steelers fan, Josh Dobbs is an absolutely terrible quarterback. So I'm taking Washington. Next up, the Packers versus the Bears, a rivalry as old as time. And I got the Packers winning on this one. I think that Jordan Love can prove to be a good quarterback for the Packers. I think everyone's down on them right now because Aaron Rodgers left. But I have no faith in the Bears whatsoever. I know everyone's so hyped about Justin Fields. Justin Fields is going to be the next greatest quarterback of all time. I don't get it. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when Justin Fields actually makes an impact. But for now, I'm taking the Packers. Next up, we got the Raiders at the Broncos. Russell Wilson trying to push that last season to the wayside, trying to just make an impact this season. Everyone kind of just changed their minds about Russell Wilson. Like last year, they said he's gonna lead the Broncos to the Super Bowl. He's gonna take them to the moon. But now they're like, Russell Wilson's a bum. He can't throw a pass anymore. He's just absolutely worthless. And I think the media, I think that's the problem. They switch back and forth, back and forth. I think Russell Wilson, he's gonna learn from his mistakes. He's got a way better coach in Sean Payton. And I think they're gonna defeat the Raiders here. Jimmy G might take the Raiders far, but for right now, I'm banking on Russell Wilson here. Next up, we got the Dolphins versus the Chargers. Now, I could put this at the game of the week for me, but I do believe there's one more game that makes me a little bit more excited, but I do think that Dolphins-Chargers is going to be a good game between two young quarterbacks who I think they're from the same draft class. Pretty sure they are. But between Tua Tagovailoa and Justin Herbert, both quarterbacks who have been pretty hyped throughout the season. A lot of people questioning Tua Tagovailoa based on his past with concussions, and I think he got 3 concussions last year, some ridiculous thing. But I think he's gonna. I know I'm having a lot of faith with these quarterbacks. I'm expecting them to improve, but with all that being said, I'm taking Miami. The Chargers are good. But in the end, I got Miami winning this one. Next up, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the New England Patriots. I think this is pretty much a no-brainer. I got the Eagles winning. That defense is just too powerful. And Jalen Hurts is on a roll, what can I say? Next up, we got the Los Angeles Rams versus the Seattle Seahawks. Matt Stafford got injured. He was out for most of the year, and don't know if he's gonna be back to his original form. Honestly, I'm taking the Seahawks on this one. I think Geno Smith is gonna win it. Next up, sorry, my voice is cracking. Next up is Sunday Night Football, Cowboys versus Giants. I got the Cowboys pretty easily. I think the Giants are pretty overrated. You know, they had an alright season, but they had a fairly easy schedule. That's not to say that I don't believe in the Giants. You know, I think that defense with Thibodeau and just now Isaiah Simmons, who got traded from the Cardinals, I think they're going to be pretty stout. But that being said, I got the Cowboys winning. And finally, the last game of the week is also my personal game of the week. That is the Bills versus the Jets. And this is mainly because Aaron Rodgers, if you've been living under a rock, has been traded to the New York Jets. And everyone's so excited to see what's going to happen, you know. Oh, how's he going to perform on the Jets, you know. And to be fair, I think it's going to be better than how Russell Wilson did when he debuted with the Broncos. I think Rodgers is going to have some pretty decent receivers to throw to with Garrett Wilson and Cole Hardman. And it does help that the defense is quite good with Sauce Gardner, C.J. Mosley, Quinnen Williams. They're good. That being said, I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. And that's because I just believe that the Buffalo Bills are just... they're riding off the Damar Hamlin hype, you know. I think he's going to start week 1. Don't quote me on that, but they're still kind of off the Damar Hamlin momentum. A lot of spirit in Buffalo, and I think that's going to help propel them versus the Jets. So, those are my final predictions for week 1. I'm sorry for being really quiet, but I haven't recorded a video in a long time, and I don't know, it's kind of late. So, thank you all for watching. My predictions are probably going to be horribly wrong, but, you know, it is what it is. So, that's it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.